All right, so buckle up, everybody, because today we are diving deep, deep into consciousness itself.
Ooh, that's a big one.
It is. It is.
I like it.
We are tackling the age-old question of what it even means to be aware.
Right.
But we're not just going to be like sitting here pondering dusty old philosophy books.
No, no.
We've got research, we've got real-world examples, we've got, maybe even a few laughs along the way.
I'm always down for a few laughs.
So are you ready to find out if your reality is just a really elaborate illusion that your brain has cooked up?
I'm excited.
I mean, this is what's always captivated me, right? It's like science is finally starting to actually deal with consciousness.
Right.
Because for centuries, it was this untouchable enigma.
Yeah, yeah.
It was the domain of like philosophers, mystics,
Yeah.
But now we've got biologists, neurologists, even physicists
Oh.
trying to crack the code.
So instead of just asking what is consciousness, now we're trying to figure out if we can measure it,
Right.
poke it with a stick,
Mhm.
maybe even find the off switch. Well, maybe not an off switch, but
Not quite an off switch, but you get the idea.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so let's dive into some of this source material here because it starts off, simple enough asking what consciousness is,
Right,
and it argues that it's not just neurons firing,
right.
it's about this awareness of ourselves and the world that we have.
Yeah, and it's the ability to experience, to think, to feel, to understand.
We're not just things.
Yes.
We're beings that experience things.
It allows us to contemplate our own existence.
Right, and that's what kind of sets us apart from, the squirrels and the pigeons.
Arguably, right.
Yeah.
Arguably.
There's some smart squirrels out there, I'm sure.
Yeah, there are.
But this is what makes us unique, right? This ability.
But here's where things start to get really trippy,
Yeah.
okay? Because our source suggests that this awareness,
Okay.
this consciousness that we have, might be playing tricks on us.
Okay.
It might be shaping our reality to fit its expectations.
Right.
Like,
It's got its own little internal PR team that's spinning the narrative.
pick a spin doctor.
Yeah, like a
It's
spin
like
doctor.
Our brains.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they use a really fascinating example to kind of illustrate this point.
Okay.
The checker shadow illusion.
Oh,
You're
okay.
familiar with that one?
Yeah, it's a classic.
It's a classic. This is where you have two squares, right?
Yeah.
A and B.
Yeah,
And they look like they're different shades of gray, but they're actually the same color.
right. And I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, my eyes are broken.
You're like, what is going on?
Like, what is happening?
Totally.
But it turns out it's not our eyes.
No.
It's our brains that are doing the deceiving.
Right. And that's what's so wild, right? Because our eyes are actually sending the correct information to the brain.
Right.
Like, they're not lying to us.
My eyes are telling the truth.
Your eyes are like, hey, those are the same color.
Hmm.
But our brain is like, nope, I know better.
I went to school for this. I know what I'm looking at.
There's no way.
There's clearly a shadow.
One must be in shadow.
Yeah,
Oh, so my brain is basically gaslighting my eyeball.
essentially, yes.
Wow. Okay.
And our source, they highlight, this isn't just a visual quirk.
Okay.
Like, it's not just our eyes, it's all of our senses can be tricked in this way.
Yeah, right.
Hearing, taste, touch, all of them can be overridden by our brain's idea of how the world should be.
Wait, so you're telling me I can't even trust my own senses? What kind of chaotic reality are we living in here?
Well, it's not necessarily chaotic,
Okay.
but it definitely suggests that our perception of reality is not as objective as we might think it is.
Okay.
Our brains are constantly filtering and interpreting,
Right.
shaping it to fit their pre-existing beliefs
Oh, wow.
and expectations.
So we're all kind of living in our own personalized, like curated versions of reality.
Kinda.
That's both incredibly cool and a little bit unsettling.
It's both, right? It's like, oh, that's amazing, but also, oh no.
Yeah. Oh, no.
A little bit of both.
What does it all mean?
Exactly.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll delve even deeper into this rabbit hole of consciousness and reality.
It is good. Let's do it.
Stay with us.
It really makes you wonder then, like, if our brains are kind of building this reality based on all these assumptions.
Right.
What happens when those assumptions are wrong? Like, are we just wandering around in some blissful delusion all the time?
Right. Like, are there cracks in the matrix?
Yeah.
Can we, like, peek behind the curtain and see the puppeteers pulling the strings?
Well, our source suggests that maybe we get glimpses of those cracks through experiences like phantom limb pain.
Oh, yeah, that's the one where, like, people who've lost a limb can still feel sensations.
Yeah.
Even pain.
Totally.
In a limb that's no longer there.
That's
It's
wild.
always, yeah, it's always blown my mind.
It's such a fascinating phenomenon, right?
It is.
It really shows how powerful the brain is.
Yeah.
Like, it can create sensations that are totally independent of what's actually physically happening.
Right.
And the source explains this.
Okay.
The pain isn't coming from the missing limb.
Okay.
It's coming from the brain itself.
The brain is like, nope, it's still there. Feel the pain.
All right. The brain's still convinced that the limb is there, so it's like, hey, I'm going to generate these sensations
Wow.
just to keep you on your toes.
That's both like incredibly resilient and also a little bit terrifying.
Right.
Like, our brains are powerful.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, this is kind of making me think about that whole like brain as a computer analogy
Oh, yeah.
that gets thrown around a lot, you know?
Right.
If our brains are like these super complex
Right.
software programs,
Yeah,
then maybe they're also prone to like glitches and bugs,
totally.
just like any software, you know?
100%.
And our source even like touches on this a little bit.
They do. And they actually go even further and suggest that these bugs in our mental programming might be responsible for some of the weirdest,
Okay, now you've got my attention.
the most inexplicable experiences that we have.
I love a good mystery. So lay it on me. What kind of glitches are we talking about here?
Well, think about déjà vu.
Oh, yeah.
That feeling like you've already experienced something
Right.
that's happening right now.
Yeah.
Our source suggests that that could be a sort of memory glitch
Oh, okay.
where your brain accidentally files a present experience
Yeah.
as a memory from the past.
So instead of like proof of past lives or, you know, precognitive abilities or something,
Right.
it's just my brain being messy
It's just your brain
with its filing system.
being a little sloppy with the filing.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I put that in the wrong folder. Oops.
Right.
But then they take it even further
Okay.
and suggest that these kinds of glitches
Hey,
might not just be confined to our individual experiences.
hold on. Glitches in the universe. Now we're going full-blown like Matrix here.
Yeah, it gets kind of trippy.
What does that even mean?
Well, consider the mysteries of dark matter and dark energy.
Okay.
These are phenomena that we know exist
Yeah.
based on their effects on the universe, but we can't see them.
Right.
We can't interact with them directly.
Right. They're like the scaffolding
Yeah.
holding the whole thing together that we can't see.
Exactly, exactly. And our source presents this really intriguing hypothesis. What if those unexplained phenomena aren't actually real
Okay.
in the objective sense, but rather they're artifacts of how our brains process information about the universe?
Oh, so like my brain is looking at the universe and saying, hold on, something's not adding up here. Better invent some invisible stuff to make the math work.
Yeah, it's a simplified way of putting it.
Okay.
But kind of right. It's like our brains are trying to make sense of this vast,
Right.
incomprehensible universe.
Yeah.
And they might create these concepts like dark matter and dark energy
Right.
as placeholders.
Like the little sticky note.
Yeah, a little sticky note.
It's like when you lose your keys.
Yeah.
And you start blaming a mischievous house elf, even though you probably just left them in your other pants pocket.
Yeah, it's a good analogy.
Right.
And of course, it's important to note that this is just one hypothesis among many.
Hey.
But what I find fascinating is that it challenges us to think about the role of our own consciousness
Yeah.
in shaping how we understand the universe.
It's a humbling thought, right?
Absolutely.
Like the way we perceive reality might actually be influencing our scientific discoveries.
Totally. And this brings us back to the core of our deep dive, right?
Yeah.
What is consciousness? And how much power does it really have over our reality?
Big questions. So we've gone through like glitching brains, phantom limbs, maybe even a few cracks in the universe itself.
Quite a journey.
It's a lot to process. But our source doesn't stop there.
Oh, no.
It takes this really interesting turn into how we as humans
Right.
have tried to make sense of consciousness through like art, literature, you know,
Okay.
the fun stuff.
I like where this is going.
Yeah. So it's like, are we trying to externalize this thing
Right.
that we can't quite grasp internally?
It's like we're trying to hold up a mirror to it
Right.
and see what it looks like when it reflects back at us.
Yeah. Are we getting like a syllabus for Consciousness 101 taught by Netflix?
Not quite.
Not quite. Okay.
Although that's a great idea for a spin-off series.
Right. I'd watch that.
Yeah, I'd watch that too.
So, but the source does point out that there are these recurring themes
Okay.
in the stories that we tell
Yeah.
about
Well,
consciousness.
they're not themes.
Well, take like the idea of the higher self.
Okay.
You know, like in stories, it's often depicted as this journey,
Yeah.
into, like, some deep hidden part of a mind.
It's like the hero's journey, right?
It is. Every single hero's journey ever.
They go into the underworld.
Yeah.
They face their shadow
They
self.
face the shadow. They emerge wiser,
What powerful.
maybe with, like, a cool power-up or something.
Oh, exactly. It's like consciousness is this untapped potential that we're all yearning for.
Right, and we want to believe that there's more to us
Yeah.
than, this meat suit and a to-do list.
Absolutely.
But then you've got the flip side, right? The stories about the dangers of consciousness.
Oh, yeah, like mind control.
Yeah, AI going rogue.
Dystopian sci-fi where, like, your thoughts are monitored,
Oh, yeah.
manipulated.
That's the scary stuff.
It's like a fear of what happens when we create things
Yeah,
that can think.
right. Potentially better than us.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a horror movie where the monster
yeah.
is our own creation.
Ooh, I like that.
Right. And the source even, like, makes a point of saying that this anxiety seems to be popping up a lot more lately.
Interesting.
Like, we're blurring the lines between the real and the virtual.
Right.
It's almost like we're subconsciously preparing ourselves for, like, this big reveal.
Yeah, like the curtain's going to be pulled back.
Yeah, that we're all just, like, one layer down in the simulation. Yeah, the Matrix.
That would be a trip.
Well, that's enough to keep me up at night.
Me too, probably.
But seriously, like, where does all of this leave us?
Yeah.
We've gone from, like, the science of the brain to the stories that we tell about it.
It's been quite the deep dive.
It has been quite the deep dive.
And I think one of the key takeaways from the source is that consciousness isn't this static thing.
Okay.
It's constantly changing.
Right.
It's evolving, perhaps even expanding as we learn more.
Yeah. And what we call reality might need a serious upgrade along the way.
Potentially.
So are we any closer to answering the big question of what is consciousness? Feels like we've, like, circled it, poked at it.
We've danced around it.
We've danced around it.
But it's still this vast mystery.
It is.
Maybe that's the point.
Maybe.
Maybe consciousness is the ultimate frontier, both out there in the universe and also within each of us.
Ooh, I like that.
And the journey of exploring it, of questioning, of even getting things wrong.
Right.
That's what transforms us.
Well said. Well said. And for you, dear listener, we hope this deep dive has at least made those neurons fire a little bit brighter.
Keep those synapses snapping.
Keep questioning, keep exploring,
Yeah.
and who knows, maybe you'll be the one to finally crack the code.
You never know.
Until then, stay curious, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.